Good morning and welcome back to another episode of Board Shorts with Kirby Smith. I'm Kirby Smith and I'm standing here with Mr. Scott Chevalier, who is the owner-operator of PowerHouse. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
Man, I'm doing great. Good to see you, Kirby.
Thank you very much for having me. So we are here for a very special reason, and that is to explain exactly what is PowerHouse. Now, I've heard a lot of things about PowerHouse, some of the good things that you have done, but just to really get it out there, can you explain to me and to the people what PowerHouse is, its purpose, and what you're doing to elevate our kids here in Lake County?
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity to do so. We are an organization that looks at students wherever they are in life. Doesn't matter if they're struggling in school or they're doing well in school, and ask the question, do you have a plan? We want to deliver to students two things we think they're needing today: hope and opportunity. Hope, if you come from a situation of despair, where you're disillusioned by the situation you live in, maybe your home situation, maybe a bad family situation, and you feel like no one's there to give you an opportunity for your future, and you're going to live just like you've been living. We want them to know that there's a difference, that you can change the trajectory of your life. Opportunity, we want every student to graduate knowing they have direction for their life.
PowerHouse focuses on young adults. Can you tell me the age range that you focus on, and then what is your hope to get out of this?
Yeah, typically we focus on juniors and seniors who are beginning that timeline. It begins to tick for them, that their graduation day is in sight and they got to have a plan. Recently, we've expanded that. So we've had the schools reach out to us to start working with freshmen and sophomores. Even here in Lake County, we'll be starting middle schools in the fall because they're having so much interruption in these young people and their focus of what's important in life. We want to start early to get a new mindset for them.
So PowerHouse's purpose is to get young adults prepared for what's going to face them when they leave high school, whether it's college or a job or whatever it is. They don't know the direction they're going to go yet. Can you explain to me what the process is that PowerHouse goes through each student to get them on that track?
Yeah, that's a great question. So when we get students typically coming into our sessions, and we call this, where we're at today, the experience room. You can tell it's different. There are no desks. We've changed the lighting. We want them to be in an environment where it's really conducive to them learning to trust us, but also for us to begin to build concepts that they may not get on a regular school campus. So when they come into PowerHouse, the first 4 weeks, I call it boot camp. It's a retraining of your mind, believing in yourself, beginning to understand that my choices matter, beginning to understand that my excuses aren't going to get me anywhere, that I've got to flush my excuses. And we actually have a session where we have a toilet in our classroom where students will write down whatever their excuse is, and every one of them know what their excuse is, and flush it. That helps them to move on with their mindset into career opportunities. So then we take them into career assessments to know how their personality is wired. We give the DISC survey so that they begin to understand, I might be a D, direct and driven, and I might have goals in my life, but I don't know how to write them down. I don't know how to execute them. Once they begin to understand that, they identify careers that are based on those personality traits. And it gives them an eye-opening experience, maybe for the first time. I would say it this way, Kirby. I think it would be very difficult for high school students to take a blank sheet of paper and write down 10 careers. They would struggle with that. They would start with doctor, lawyer, police, fire, and then they would pause and start thinking about, I don't know what else out there. What's possible?
You take students that are unsure of what their purpose is. They're unsure of where they're going to go in the future.
Yeah.
How do you get your students here? What's the criteria, and how do you get them here? And I know that PowerHouse wants to include everybody, but there's a certain type of student that really you focus on to help these kids out. Can you go through that a little bit?
Yeah, so the term we use in society, which I don't like, is at risk. So it's a student who is maybe depressed, maybe they've disillusioned by school, by work, by life. It's a student who walks in these hallways with no real purpose about their future. We've had students who have a .32 GPA walk in here and really aimless about any goals in their life. And so when you see them, all you see is the top of their head. They're staring at their phones, they're disengaged with headphones on, or just really not embarking on something positive. Those students are assigned to us by the leadership of every school. So the school system identifies students who are at risk and they give them to PowerHouse. And so we become really shock therapy. It is the moment where they are coming alive to what they've given up on.
So you take these students who are struggling in school because they have no purpose, they don't know how to succeed.
Yeah.
The school gives you these students and then you teach them how to be successful. I understand that you have a mentor program. Can you go through what we as a community can do to help PowerHouse out and these students? Because I believe that all comes together as a community effort. If you help these kids become productive in society, you're only helping the entire community. So can you go through your mentorship program so people out there can understand how they can help you and PowerHouse?
Yeah, I think mentorship is a powerful tool for everyone in our lives. We believe there's two premises. Everyone has a passion and purpose, and the other one is what you just said. Everyone needs someone to achieve their purpose. All of us, I think back in my own life of the people who kept me going. When I was getting off track, whether it was a dad, mom, coach, pastor, somebody who was there to say, you're going off track, you need to get up here. I remember in football practice, someone saying, you get in there and you do it better. There's more in you than I'm getting. These kids today that we see are raising themselves. They find their value system through 30-second TikTok videos. Yeah. They look at social media as made up as it can be as reality. And so they're really distorted in what relationship is. And so what we do is we get them to trust us, and then we introduce mentorship. And this is where the community can get involved. We look at mentorship a little bit differently. Once we know the direction a student in our classrooms wants to go with their life, whether that be welding, plumbing, architecture, whatever the career is, we want to match them with an adult who has done that career. And so we have a portal on our website that they can go to and they can click on Be a Mentor. It takes them through the application process. It does a level 2 background check. It asks them about their past work experience, their hobbies, and then the algorithm in our program matches what we're doing with our students in our classroom. And so that we're able to find adults who are similar to the students we're working with.
So you mentioned something that I didn't know you had. You mentioned a website. So this website that PowerHouse has, does it explain the program and what it's about and what's its purpose? And
yeah, absolutely. They can go to the website, which is www.powerhouse.org, and they can find all this information. They can find out how to be a mentor, what a mentor is. We even do mentor training through our website. They can watch videos of what we do in the classroom. They can hear testimonials from students and teachers who have sat in our classroom to see what the results are.
Well, Scott, you know I've been a big supporter of PowerHouse since the day we met almost 5 years ago. Is there anything that you would like to say, any last words you would like to say about PowerHouse, the impact it's had not only to the students but the community, and whether, is there anything you'd like to say to potential mentors out there that can help out? Just any last words of thought that you might have before we end this board short?
Yeah, I think the most important thing for everyone to understand is just in the state of Florida alone, there are 267,000 16 to 24-year-olds who are not engaged in school or employed. It's a national epidemic across our country. And so it's important for them to understand that we need to re-engage a generation. The statement I like to say is this: these students need direction beyond the diploma. I want every student to graduate. I want them to get a diploma. But I can tell you, most importantly, I want them to have direction. I want them to have a clear understanding the Monday after they receive their diploma, I know what I'm going to do. Whether that's the military, whether that's going into a college or university, or whether that's going to a trade school and learning something maybe at Lake Tech, that they can have a career in less than a year and be into their career path. So I think it's important for our community to know that they play a part in this, that these students are not going to find this out by drinking the water in Lake County. They need engagement. They need us to come on campus and engage them. And I can tell you, for a lot of adults, it's scary to be in this environment because we forget how many years ago that I walked into a classroom as a student. I want them to know that once they come, they'll get hooked. We have adults who come for the first time who are in their 70s, who sit in the back of a PowerHouse room and today are mentoring young people.
As you look around this room, especially here at Leesburg High School, you see a couple of quotes that just absolutely are phenomenal in my opinion. One of them is passion, purpose, and profit. Can you explain that a little bit to us? What is the message you're trying to get out there?
Yeah, so a lot of people don't realize everybody in life has a passion. And these kids do, whether it's video games or spending time on TikTok or just being with their friends. There's something that they're passionate about, but they also have purpose. And the best way I know to describe this is we had a career day where we had a counselor come in. And this counselor was talking about why she went into counseling. And her statement was, I just wanted to help people. Well, what we heard in that was, that's her passion, helping people. Her purpose is a counselor. She found a way to fulfill her passion in her career. The profit comes in because if these students can find something that they are very passionate about and they find a career that gives them that opportunity, they're going to make profit. It's going to be more than a job.
I think to say, once you find something that you love to do, you're not really working. You're just expanding on and giving your knowledge out to other people on things that you love to do.
100%.
And the owner or the founder of Chick-fil-A had a very good quote, and the quote is here in this room. Would you like to say that quote?
Yeah, it's something that motivates me every day, and I think there's so much truth in it. It's very simple. It's easier to raise boys and girls than to mend men and women.
That is such a true statement. And Scott, I can't thank you enough for everything you've done here in Lake County. I just see this program exploding and just doing nothing but helping the young people who actually need the help here in Lake County. I certainly appreciate everything you have done for us here. Is there anything that we can do? I noticed that you have some pamphlets out there. Yeah. Please go to the website. If you can be a mentor, fill it all out. If you're just wanting to know a little bit more about what PowerHouse is and what their program's about, look at the website, give Scott a call. He's open and available to give any of the talks to anybody that's willing to listen about the program because he's passionate about this as well as I am. The most important thing is be good to your friends, be good to your neighbors, and help out when you can. That's all we have for Board Shorts of Kirby Smith. See you next Wednesday.